We are technically in the pits of the luteal phase.
Also just so hungry.
Sometimes my periods just feel like pretty awful. Like I have really bad mood swings.
Vero Pluses are the best running shoes. So something dawned on me recently and I realized that I have never trained according to my menstrual cycle. Honestly, and a lot of women might feel this way, I've only really learnt about the different phases in the last couple of years. Like I didn't know that they can affect mood and how they change things, and I definitely didn't know that they affect my training, but they obviously do. I've never really considered like what I can do in terms of my training, my nutrition, to make myself feel the best according to what time of the month it is. So I've done a little bit of research into the different phases and what they mean and how long they are, because I used to think it was this clear-cut four-way thing and each cycle was kind of like equal bits, but that is not actually how it works. The only thing I've ever really known was that before my period I felt awful, like my luteal phase, I just always felt bleh. That was kind of it, but there's so much more to that. So if we start at the menstrual period is about 3 to 7 days. I mean, I'm probably 7 days, if not 8. This is obviously when you're shedding a uterine lining and when you're bleeding. You've got your two hormones, estrogen and progesterone. During your menstrual phase, you're low in both. You'll probably have low energy, fatigue, you might have some cramping. This is kind of a time to just rest up. I understand during training you can't just always rest, but potentially fit in the more restful types of workouts. If you can do more walks, more yoga, maybe not like aim for a PB during this time. In terms of nutrition, it's really important to have some like iron-rich foods, things that replenish you because obviously you're bleeding. Anti-inflammatory foods. I think all the kind of detoxy things like ginger, spinach. Obviously to focus on hydration because again, you are bleeding. So potentially, you know, make sure you're having your electrolytes during this time. Your follicular phase, I guess, essentially comes next. So you could say day 7 to 14, but I believe it essentially covers the whole period from the beginning of your menstruation to the end of your ovulation. But past your menstruation, you've got follicular. You're gonna be feeling good here. Your estrogen is rising. You will have more confidence, higher energy. So this is the time to do your harder speed runs, your more kind of agile workouts. Maybe you go for the longer distance runs here. Not only will you have more energy for these runs, but you will also recover more easily. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. I mean, again, all the normal, obviously plenty of hydration and really nutritious foods. So you can up your carb intake here because you're gonna be doing more workouts probably. So you'll feel better. So you should fuel for it. And also with more training should be more protein, so make sure that you're having enough protein. You've got your ovulation phase. This is only about 2 to 4 days, so it's a really short period. This is when your estrogen peaks. You'll be feeling probably really confident and social. Your libido will be up. You might have a little bit of bloating during this time because your body is essentially getting ready to, you know, have babies. But it is your power window. Those few days is like when you can really push. If you've got like a really hard session or you want to do a time trial and chase a PB, I'd really recommend it to be during this time. Similar nutrition advice applies as kind of the general follicular phase. Lastly, the luteal phase. Don't we all love her? Now the luteal phase is awful. Days 14 to 28. She's a long one. This is when your progesterone rises. You might have some mood swings here. You might be sleeping less. You might be tired. I mean, every woman is different, but you just might not be feeling yourself. I don't know if you've ever heard of the luteal uglies, but I definitely feel like I get them. My skin breaks out. I get bloated. I just feel so uggo. Not that my mood should be impacted by looks, but it is obviously. And so yeah, this phase is just not a good one. You might have strong cravings here, like ultimately just not the best time. You can still again stick to your normal workouts here, but just be mindful that you might not be feeling your absolute best. Emphasis could be a lot on also things like breath work and mobility, just things that kind of keep you grounded and calm during this time. You know, maybe go out and do that hard run, but after do a little bit of a breath work and stretch session. At this point, it's good to have some like slow release carbs, things like sweet potato, oats, kind of your whole grains. These might just like bend a bit of those cravings, those sugar cravings that you'll be having during the luteal phase anyways. It's really important to nourish yourselves with good food. Obviously treat yourself to that chocolate or anything like that, but just make sure that you're also fueling with good food so you're not just like hungry and just reaching for the things that you're craving. Now, it all seems a little bit complicated, and I'll be honest, this is kind of my first time focusing on all the different phases and what they do. So I'm no expert and I'm just trying it for the first time. I know that I get heavily affected by my cycle. I have endometriosis. I have really awful periods and I'm just not always the best during certain points of my cycle. So I'm going to be intrigued now that I'm kind of aware of it, how my training changes, how my mood changes, how my energy levels change. It's going to be a fun month and I hope that we both learn something along the way. Currently on my period and I've got like literally the worst cramps. When I tell you, this period has been wreaking havoc. Not only did she come a week late and make me a little bit nervous, but it also came and went within like 2 days, and then 2 days later came back. Sometimes my body does these silly little things and I'm like, makes planning runs very hard. For example, yesterday wasn't on my period, had a great run. This morning on my period again and I have cramps and I woke up really nauseous. And I already had 8K on the plan for today and I want to go out and do my 8K, but equally I need to realize like if I need to change plans because I don't feel well, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna get out, try to do my 8K. But it's really not easy to run when you've got cramps. Okay, I'm feeling really emotional for some reason, so I'm gonna try my best not to cry. That felt really awful. I only did 3K out of the 8K I was gonna do. To be honest, I'm not training for anything, so the 8K was pretty like arbitrary. I just set my mind to do 8K, but sometimes when I set my mind to a distance and I don't do it, I just feel like such a failure, which is so against everything I preach. And also like, it's not every day that I'm having a really, oh my God, it's just running, it's not that deep. It's just not every day that like I have a really bad period. Sometimes my periods just feel like pretty awful. Like I have really bad mood swings. Yeah, so like running through that can be really tough. Whoa, okay. I need to pull it together. So yeah. But like sometimes on my period, I'm weirdly like better at running. Like sometimes at PB when I'm on my period. So I don't actually know if there's any correlation, but I think like mood is a big part of when I feel good or not on a run. Like if I wake up in a good mood, I tend to have better runs. And last few days I've been just waking up feeling like a little bit low. So it's okay. It's not that deep. It's not that deep.
So I am still in my menstruation phase. The thing about this time is you're meant to be doing light exercise, low intensity stuff. And I don't know why, but I am running a 10K today. I am really, really struggling. I can feel a huge difference when I run at certain times of my cycle. Like this is feeling like a marathon today. I guess this is what happens when you don't listen to advice. Also just so hungry. Like I ate my usual pre-run breakfast, but I'm starving. I think, I'm gonna fact check, I think you burn more calories on your period, so you need more fuel. I suppose final verdict on menstruation phase after a failed run and a run that felt literally impossible. I'm gonna use it in the future as a little rest week, a little deload week. No point forcing yourself to do something if you're gonna struggle that much.
Guys, I'm in my follicular phase. I actually genuinely feel such a big difference. The past couple of days, I've had so much more energy. Yesterday, I woke up just being like, oh, I'm happy, I'm buzzy. I know obviously like the fact that I'm making this video might make it seem like I'm making my moods fit the phases, but I am someone who feels a huge difference. And before I knew what the phases were and what they were called, I still knew like, okay, week before my period is a rough week, week of my period is rough, and then I have 2 better weeks. I've always been knowing that about my mood. Sometimes I feel great on my period week and I might have a really rough week later on. Like obviously it's not like every month is the same, but I think that when it comes to exercise, something I learned from pushing myself on my period week is that it's not worth it. It's not worth pushing yourself. If you are having a crappy day and you then try to go out on a run and you're not feeling it and you struggle and it is so bad and you really underperform, you are gonna have a worse day after. Like it's just not gonna make you feel good. Versus maybe going for like a light jog or like a bit of yoga or just a stretching session would make you feel good. So lesson learned there. Now with it being my follicular phase, I would love to push myself a little bit more. So I think I'm gonna go out for a 5K today and like potentially push my pace a bit. I mean, I'll see how I feel, but I don't feel like I need to only be doing easy runs. Still no pressure on myself, but I'm looking forward to this. I think it might be a pretty good run. Okay, side note also, these Nike Vomero Pluses are the best running shoes. I'm addicted to wearing these. They feel so good. I should not be putting them that close to my face. They are so muddy.
I'm pushing my pace, but it doesn't feel like too hard. It's nice to not struggle through a run, it really is. With your cycle and running, I just feel like knowledge is power, and if you know that your hormones are playing up against you or with you that week, I feel like you can make better informed decisions on what to do with your training. That was a speedy 5k for me, so obviously it didn't feel easy, but it wasn't really meant to be an easy run, and just the fact that I could do it says a lot about how I'm feeling today. Running feels so good when you feel good. Nothing beats the feeling of doing something when you're feeling like good and capable. I'm really happy with that. I'm very, very happy with that run.
Woke up this morning just thinking I am not doing any running today, and that's fine. That's honestly part of training. As cheesy as it sounds, the recovery is always as important as the training. I have trained 5 days in a row, so it's totally good to take Monday off. Things are slowing a little bit down going into the winter. Training this week is about kind of just being consistent, fueling my body right, embracing the cozy vibes. I want to make a soup this week. I love soup season. Hello. I'm not gonna like sit here and say I feel amazing, because it is a changing season. We're going into the winter. It's so freaking dark all the time. We're not even at our darkest point yet, but obviously my body feels tired in general, so like I can't pretend that I feel my best. Sometimes I wonder if like coffee first thing is a good idea, because I know some people are like, don't have your coffee first thing, it disrupts your hormones, but I don't know, I can't really live without it. Today I'm thinking of doing a generally easy run. I don't think I'm even gonna try to speed up at all. I thought it'd be a fun time to tell you a little bit of the different changes that happen in your body during your follicular phase. So essentially during this phase, your estrogen rises and your progesterone is low. I know what you're thinking, what the hell does that mean? So essentially you're using more efficient muscle fuel. You also have a higher pain tolerance, which is crazy. A lot of women who go to the gym during this phase feel that they can hit higher weights, like they can see a real big difference. And if you're running, it's a really good time to try speed work, try for a PB, maybe try some longer distance running, just kind of generally pushing yourself. I think the best thing is that estrogen supports better mood. So in this phase, you might feel brighter, happier. Like I genuinely feel a big difference, because I'm someone who gets quite affected by my period. Like I feel like a different human being the week before my period, sometimes the week during my period. I'm just so moody. And then during this phase, I feel a lot more motivated. I feel more confident. I feel like I look prettier, which I know sounds so vain, but I have to say it. Part of me thinks that that's like a serotonin mood thing. Part of me thinks that that's genuinely true, because leading up to my period, I do get bloated. I do get more acne. Like my skin is just more dull. I do think I get the luteal face uglies. And so, yeah, I feel a lot better. We do get impacted by the way that we look. Like that's just the reality of things. Electrolyte regulation is better during this phase. So you are less bloated and you are less thirsty. You, again, just feel brighter overall. It's kind of crazy that as women, I feel like half of the month we just feel like absolute poop and half we feel pretty good. I actually don't yet know a lot about the next phase. We're going into the ovulation phase. Apart from the fact that you're meant to feel quite sexy. I don't exactly know how that impacts your training.
I feel like it's hard to have a bad run when the weather is nice. Like as soon as the sun is out, I am just so happy. I guess if you've been following my journey, you know I'm kind of like a slower, more average runner. But I've gotten a lot quicker over the last few months. I went from running at about 8:30 to about 7:30, which is huge progress for me. The thing is, because I don't run as much throughout the winter, I get anxious about like losing that progress. And I guess like the important thing for me is realizing that running isn't linear. Like I'm not just gonna keep progressing forever. That was a very good morning of running. I love a run that just feels like, I don't know, not awful, don't we all? But yeah, that was really nice. It was good weather, it wasn't like freezing today, so I'm enjoying this week so far.
The theory is that during this phase you should be training a little bit harder. You obviously need carbs to sustain that, but also you're processing the carbs better. You should also be eating foods rich in fats, healthy fats, avocado, fish. So I was just thinking of making like a little fish pasta salad. I'm not someone who's ever really eaten for my cycle, and things like increasing your iron during your period is so important because you're obviously losing a lot of blood. And I guess I've never really thought about like what I can be eating to make myself feel better. Obviously it needs to be mixed in. I always do this. I fill up my bowls to the brim. I can't even see any pasta, but it's there, I promise. It's about 6 a.m, still pitch black outside, but I'm gonna be doing this. I know I'm so privileged in that I don't have a 9 to 5, so I'm not usually doing 6 a.m. workouts, because when I am, oh my God, I used to do this every single day. I don't know how I did it. I'm not like totally sure on the plan today. I think that I'm gonna do like a very short speed run, and then I'm gonna do some strength training because I feel like I've neglected strength training to the point that my legs kind of feel sore on my runs now. I'm gonna actually make use of the fact that I'm going to the gym, do a little bit of strength. I need a good podcast for the gym. I feel like I want to listen to a podcast today. Loving this song lately. I'm not really sure that I'm built for like 6 a.m. gym workouts, especially in the winter, but the real nice thing is knowing that now it's like 8 and I'm like starting my day, and I would usually at this time be like heading out for my run. So getting time back is really priceless. I can never run at that time outside because it's dark, and also I'm just not running at 6 a.m. But the gym is doable at that time. Forgot to fill my matcha, but it was really tasty. I got the vanilla sea salt one from Junkie. As you can tell, so good. But also, like, look how green it is. Hey Meta. Nothing's happening. Okay. Let me sit my stupid ass down. I could just like browse for hours literally. Every time I come with my husband shopping, he's like bored immediately. I'm like, couldn't be me. I can't just depend on like food. Does that make sense?
Like put protein powder in my yogurt.
Yeah. Morning. We are technically in the pits of the luteal phase, but I actually don't feel too bad. I decided to like not wear a running top today and just wear a normal top. Don't know why. I think it like tricked my brain into feeling like I'm not going for a run, like I'm dressed comfy. I can't sit here and pretend that I've been enjoying running. I also don't know if it's like luteal phase specifically, but running is just feeling a bit awful. I also went to the gym yesterday, forgot to film, and I did some weights, and I'm actually really sore because I think I never do strength training, or I don't do it often enough. So when I do it, I'm like wiped for a little bit, which is good fun. Just got back. Honestly, I feel like these videos must be so boring because I'm just like, I'm gonna go and run. I just came back from a run. Like, I don't have much more to say. Honestly, started that run feeling like literal poop. I could not be bothered. About 3-ish K in, loved it, had a great time. And I did 5K, and I'm very proud because I haven't done 5K in a long time. It's honestly just been 3Ks. And this was a good lesson for me that a lot of times you just have to get past the 3K hump. So if you're only doing 3Ks, I mean, yeah, like it's nice to do a short run, but sometimes it isn't enough time for you to get into the run either. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Went to get some milk after. Oh, don't really have anything more interesting to say.
Lately I've been wearing these Open Dots Shokz headphones. They're very cool. They're like this, and they basically clip around your ear like little earrings. Very, very cool. Sound is insane. Like, the sound is great. Obviously, Shokz are not noise cancelling, and it's really funny because some people see me wearing them and they're like, well, it's not noise cancelling. And I'm like, babe, that's the point. The point is that you can hear other things, because if you're in a race, you need it for safety. You also want to hear the cheering. If you're running on a road, you want to hear the cars. You're running alone, sometimes you want to hear people approaching, or you want to hear if there's footsteps behind. So for safety, I always recommend something like this. I don't think you should be running with noise cancelling unless you're at the gym. Different story. I take my AirPods to the gym. Anyways, I had a good run. I honestly have been feeling pretty good lately. I always wash my hands after a run, even though I touch nothing. I don't really know why. I do think this time my luteal phase isn't affecting me much, but my last period, as you saw, was freaking awful. It was so bad, my last period. God, my face feels so warm. I don't know if you can see how red I am, but my face feels really warm. But yeah, my last period was actually awful, and I could not do anything. And usually my period week I'm okay, so something funky is going on. But yeah, I'm on my period next week, and there is a 10K race, so I'm hoping that I have like period energy. But I don't know if now I'm switching into my periods being worse than my luteal phase. I am going to try my best to listen to luteal phase advice, hydrate a lot, maybe do some yoga, just do things that will aid recovery a little bit more, because I don't think you recover as well. And I think that that's really important to do. This is pretty much a textbook good breakfast for the luteal phase. The egg helps to stabilize blood sugar. The cottage cheese is even extra protein, which is really important in the luteal phase. Avocado, good for the gut, so helps digestion, because during the luteal phase, digestion often slows down. Same with the sauerkraut, good probiotics. And coffee, because a girl needs some energy during a luteal phase and when she's slightly hungover. Morning guys, I am about to go on a very, very cold run. It literally is -2 right now. The feels like is -7. I just wanted to say something. Throughout my luteal phase, I've actually not run much. I've really said no to most runs, done yoga instead, done walks, just not exercised a huge amount. And it's made a huge difference. Like today I'm doing a run because I have a race on Sunday, but supposedly I'm getting my period tomorrow. So luteal phase is pretty much done. I think I've had a relatively good luteal phase. Like I haven't been that moody. I just haven't had so many of the regular symptoms. And I think that that is due to kind of not overexerting myself, which I think is easier to do in the winter, because in the summer I'm so go-go. And this winter I've just kind of been like, it's okay to do less. And I've implemented that, and yeah, I feel really good for it. But today I'm just gonna do like a half an hour run, something like that. It is absolutely freezing, as I said, just to get my legs moving, and then I might just not run until the race. It is absolutely diabolical how freezing it is. I've just gone past 1K and I only just feel like my skin isn't burning. It obviously helps that it's a sunny day. I think if it wasn't sunny, I wouldn't be going out in this temperature. But yeah, it's tough to breathe. It's just so tough. So I'm back on my period, so this is where I'm gonna leave you because we have done a full cycle. Today, I am running the Nike After Dark 10K race, which is so fun. It's basically gonna be a race with like thousands of women in London. I think it's gonna be so cool, and it's after dark. Starts during the day, goes into the evening. But the only issue is obviously Miss Period has come and I have really bad cramps. I did want to film a little bit of an outro and just some like final thoughts before I leave. I think ultimately it's very hard to control your cycle, control how you feel. My goal wasn't to control how I felt or control anything. It was just kind of like to go with the natural flow of the cycle. Definitely learned that walking and yoga during my luteal phase and my period is really good. I learned to not try for any really hard runs or PBs when I'm not feeling great, because
ultimately I'm just not gonna have a good time, and then it's just gonna make me feel even worse. We saw back in my last period, I was just crying after that run that I tried to do because I was so emotional already. So it was like, on top of that, adding not being able to complete a run just makes things like not great. Something that I'm gonna implement going forward, but I didn't do this month, is I'm gonna take iron supplements during my period. Anytime I get blood tests, the GP's like, you're really low in iron, you should take supplements. And I never listen, but I think I'm gonna listen because I do think that might make a big difference to my energy levels. I obviously know that I feel really different throughout my cycle, and I think that we all do. And sometimes we don't know it until we try to notice it and we are in tune with how a cycle goes. So I really advise you to actually be aware of how your cycle is affecting things. Make notes, make changes, because I do think that knowledge is power when it comes to our cycle. And I think it's something that's really not been talked about enough, especially within the context of women in sport. Overall, our bodies are crazy, they're magical. I can't believe we go through so many changes in a month. And this has really taught me to kind of be more aware of it going forward. And also just to not be so hard on myself when I'm having a bad few days. So I hope that was educational to you in some way. Let me know if you have any questions or anything that you would like to see for next time. Bye. Bye.